Welcome back. You're watching the Urban Debate and Magic Breaks now, starting with our mega continued focus on housing discrimination. In Mumbai, MNS leader and local corporator Santosh Dhuri alleges he was denied a home because he's a non-vegetarian. The corporator from Dadar alleges he wanted to book a flat with Sridham Group in Goregaon West, and the builder denied him a home, saying a Jain temple was coming up in the complex and the group was unwilling to sell homes to non-vegetarians. Our reporter Anandita Pagnis caught up with the protesters. Listen in.
चॉइस अपनी अपनी खुद की होती है, कोई ऐसे ये नहीं कर सकते हैं, डिस्क्रिमिनेट नहीं कर सकते हैं कि और सबके घर में थोड़ी जाके पका रहे हैं, अपने अपने इंडिविजुअल घर पे जिसको जो खाना है वो खा सकते हैं। हम लोग इधर ब्लॉक लेते हैं तो यहाँ से कोई हमारे बाजू में मच्छी नहीं बनाने की, ये नहीं करने का, वो नहीं करने का, ऐसा नहीं चलता है। खाने वाला अपने घर में ही खाएगा ना, दूसरे के घर में जाके तो नहीं खाएगा, अपने ही घर में खाने वाला है।
तो ये जो पोल्यूशन होता है या जैन मारवाड़ी जो लोगों का जो बिल्डिंग होता है वहाँ पे नॉनवेज खाने वालों को अलाउड नहीं करती, ये तो ठीक नहीं है ना। ये महाराष्ट्र है, पहले महाराष्ट्र में तो महाराष्ट्र में रहने वाले जो हम लोग हैं महाराष्ट्रियन या कोई भी हो, बचपन से महाराष्ट्र में रहने वाले सबको मिलना चाहिए।
मुंबई महाराष्ट्र लोग, मराठी लोगों का मुंबई है, तो हम लोग को ही क्यों आप लोग निग्लेक्ट कर रहे हैं? हम यहाँ से बॉर्न एंड बॉटअप है, अगर ये लोग बाहर से आके यहाँ पे दादागिरी कर रहे हैं तो कैसे चलेगा? मुंबई कोळ्यांचीच आहे आणि आम्ही मासे खाणार, काही असो, खाणार म्हणजे खाणार आणि खाऊन दाखवणार।
Well, Magic Breaks now, we've made repeated attempts to get an official response from the Sridham Group, the developer in question, but until now they have refused to comment on any of the questions that we have sent them. So tonight in the Urban Debate, we ask you, should buildings be allowed to deny homes to anybody, whether you're non-vegetarian, whether you are Muslim or Christian, or whether you are male or female, married or single, gay or straight, whatever the case may be? Should buildings be allowed to discriminate? You can, of course, join us on Twitter and answer that question. But in the studio with me today, Sujay Kantawala, senior lawyer, who will help us understand the legal recourse that's available to us. Naveen Chomal will join us in the course of the conversation. He's a senior advocate as well. Santosh Dhuri, the MNS corporator who has faced the problem, who's here to share his story and to tell us what he is doing to battle this problem right now. Tushar Upadhyay is the secretary of the New Heritage Cooperative Housing Society, will give us the Housing Society's point of view. Sushant Divikar is a model and a gay activist who's been with us this entire time fighting this battle. Aditya Pratap is an advocate at the Bombay High Court, will join us through the course of this conversation as well. Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi is a transgender rights activist. I want to thank all of you for joining us on the show. I'll start with, of course, the person who's facing the problem. Santosh Dhuri जी, आप बताइए, आपके साथ क्या हुआ? आपका एक्सपीरियंस बताइए हमें।
ऐसा है, मैंने जब भी वहाँ पे इंक्वायरी किया श्रीधाम डेवलपर्स के पास, ऑफिस में जब भी फ़ोन किया, आपने
ऑफिस में फ़ोन किया?
हाँ,
आप गए नहीं उस सेल्स ऑफिस में?
तभी उन्होंने कहा कि यहाँ पे सिर्फ वेजिटेरियंस लोगों को ही फ्लैट बेचा जाता
आपको
है।
उनको कैसे पता था कि आप नॉन वेजिटेरियन?
नहीं, मेरे को पहला उन्होंने क्वेश्चन पूछा कि आप वेजिटेरियन हो या नॉन वेजिटेरियन हो करके, तभी मैंने बताया कि मैं नॉन वेजिटेरियन हूँ। तभी उन्होंने कहा कि यहाँ पे सिर्फ वेजिटेरियन लोगों को घर दिया जाता है। मैंने पूछा ऐसा क्यों, तो तभी उन्होंने जवाब दिया कि यहाँ पे जैन टेम्पल होने वाला है, इसके लिए हम लोग सिर्फ वेजिटेरियन लोगों को ही उधर जगह देते हैं करके।
तो उसके बाद आपने क्या किया?
तो कैसा है कि एक तो मैंने दादर पुलिस स्टेशन में, क्योंकि मैंने दादर प्रभा देवी से फ़ोन किया था, इसके लिए मैंने दादर पुलिस स्टेशन में कंप्लेंट दर्ज करवाई। और दूसरा बात यह है कि महानगर पालिका में ऐसा एक नोटिस ऑफ मोशन पास हुआ था जिसमें ऐसा तय हुआ था कि कोई भी बिल्डर अपना फ्लैट सेल करेगा तो धार्मिक भावना के ऊपर या खाने पीने के बंधन रख के किसी को ये करके फ्लैट नहीं बेच सकता है। और अगर ऐसा वो करता है तो उसका OCCC उसका सब कैंसिल कर दिया जाएगा, और जैसे ही कोई परमिशंस रहती है BMC के पास से, वो सब परमिशन कैंसिल की जाएगी।
तो आपकी FIR दर्ज होगी?
होनी चाहिए। अभी हम लोग ने तो, अभी ये लोकशाही है और इसमें तो हम लोग ने बताया, पहले पुलिस स्टेशन को पहले बताया, उधर हम लोग ने रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि इसके ऊपर FIR ले लो करके। अभी वो लोग अभी तहकीकात करेंगे और बाद में FIR लेंगे शायद, ऐसा मेरे को लग रहा है। क्योंकि बाकी कुछ हम लोग कोई अच्छी चीज़ के लिए आंदोलन करते, कुछ आवाज़ उठाते वो दबाने के लिए, तो पहले FIR लिया जाता है, बाद में हम लोग का इंक्वायरी होता है। वो बोलते बाद में हम लोग देखेंगे, लेकिन इसके बारे में तो बोले कि पहले हम लोग इन्वेस्टिगेशन करेंगे, बाद में हम लोग सोचेंगे क्या करना है करके।
ये बताइए संतोष धूरी जी, आपको ऐसे सुन के कैसा लगा कि आपके पास आपके हाथ में पैसे हैं, आप रेडी हो घर खरीदने के लिए, लेकिन आपको बुक करने के लिए नहीं दे रहे क्योंकि आप नॉन वेजिटेरियन हो? आपको कैसा लगा ये सुन के?
देखो, मैं भी एक सामान्य नागरिक हूँ, तो मेरे को ये बुरा ही लगा, क्योंकि ये खाने पीने पे कोई बंधन नहीं होना चाहिए, रहन सहन पे कोई बंधन होना नहीं चाहिए, आपके धर्म पे। अभी हर एक धर्म में अलग अलग जाति के लोग हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि एक ही जाति के लोग हैं, लेकिन सब लोग एक साथ रहते हैं। मैं भी चाली में रहता हूँ, मेरे आजू बाजू में अलग अलग धर्म के लोग हैं, क्रिश्चियन है, मारवाड़ी है, सब लोग हैं, लेकिन हम लोग पहले से ही हम लोग साथ में रहते हैं। तो हम लोग ने अभी कभी ऐसा सोचा नहीं, अब बचपन से भी देखा मैंने, हम लोग एक दूसरे के घर पे जाते हैं, सब खाना पीना खाते, लेकिन कभी सोचा नहीं कि ये ऐसा आगे होके ऐसा होने वाला है कि ये सब जाति के ऊपर और खाने पीने के ऊपर ऐसा फ्लैट्स वगैरह बेचा जाएगा। बहुत बुरा लगा, बहुत ही बुरा लगा मेरे को।
तुषार उपाध्याय जी, आप रिस्पॉन्ड कीजिए इनको, बिकॉज द लास्ट टाइम यू वर ऑन द शो, पिछली बार जब आप शो पे आए थे तो आपका कहना था कि तो लोगों को बुरा लगता है if someone eats non-veg in the same building they feel bad. So respond here to Mr. संतोष धूरी whose feelings are hurt.
संतोष धूरी जी के साथ जो हुआ है वो ठीक तो नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन जैसे संतोष धूरी जी की इच्छा थी कि मुझे यहाँ पे फ्लैट लेना है, तो फ्लैट बेचने वाले की भी कुछ इच्छा होती है। जैसे उनको फ्रीडम है तो वो फ्रीडम बिल्डर को भी है कि उसको माल किसको देना है नहीं देना है, लेकिन वो ये कह के नहीं दे रहा है कि आप नॉनवेज खा रहे हो या आप मुस्लिम हो या आप और कोई कास्ट के हो या हम खाली जैन को ही देंगे, तो सरासर गलत बात है। हाँ, आदमी का वो लोग चेक करते कि भाई आदमी क्या क्वालिटी का है, वो आज बहुत कुछ सारे बिल्डर करते हैं।
आपका कहना ये है कि नॉनवेज वालों की क्वालिटी कम है?
नॉनवेज इज नॉट द ओनली वर्स्ट थिंग। नॉनवेज खाने वाले जब बिल्डिंग के अंदर मच्छी वाले को बुलाते हैं,
के हाथ में पैसे हैं,
नहीं पैसा खाली नहीं है,
खरीद सकते हैं घर।
देखो मेरी एक बात सुनिए,
खाने पीने से क्या
पैसा गलत आदमी के पास बहुत होता है तो उनको कोई फ्लैट नहीं देता है। आज की डेट में अब बड़े बड़े बिल्डर है ना, वो इतना महंगा फ्लैट देते हैं ना, लेकिन वो लोग पहले आदमी की डिटेल लेते हैं बायर्स की,
अरे
और वो लोग बाद में बायर्स को
मुझे समझाने की जरूरत नहीं होगी कि ब्लैक मनी कितनी होती है रियल एस्टेट इंडस्ट्री में, गलत काम करने वाले कितने होते हैं, और आप कह रहे हैं कि नॉनवेज खाने वालों को घर नहीं मिलता और आप बाकी सब चेक करते हो। बिल्डर वाले बाकी सब कुछ चेक करते हैं कि ब्लैक मनी कितना होता है, कि वो अपने घर में क्या क्या कर रहे हैं।
वो जनरली चेक नहीं करता है, बिल्डर खाली आदमी का प्रोफाइल चेक करता है, वेदर ही इज फिट फॉर दिस सोसाइटी और नॉट, दैट्स ऑल। उसको कोई मतलब नहीं होता है वो दारू पीता है या नहीं, वो मच्छी या मटन खाता है या नहीं, वो और कोई व्यभिचार करता है क्या नहीं। He should be of the same level of other members of the same society.
ये लेवल क्या होती है? ये लेवल क्या होती है?
लेवल मैं बताता हूँ, लेवल क्या होती है मैं बताता हूँ, एक मिनट। लेवल बोले तो अभी आपने देखा होंगे,
हम सब इंसान हैं, हम सब इंडियंस हैं सर, लेवल क्या होती है? हमारे बीच में लेवल क्या होती है? बताइए मुझे, लेवल क्या होती है?
लेट मी स्पेसिफाई, गिव मी 2 मिनट्स। जब हम लोग समझो एक रीडेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं, रीडेवलपमेंट करते हैं तो उसमें 100 फ्लैट बनती है, उसमें 50 फ्लैट समझो टेनेंट की है, 50 फ्लैट फ्री सेल की है। अभी वो बिल्डिंग में फ्री सेल का भाव कम हो जाता है। अभी आप मेरे को बताओ क्यों? रीज़न एक ही है, जो 50 ओल्ड टेनेंट है, पुराने टेनेंट को उसमें फ्लैट देते हैं, दे आर नॉट केपेबल एवरी 3 years टू पेंट बिल्डिंग, और दे विल नॉट शेल आउट दैट मच मेंटेनेंस।
तो उसको भी मतलब आप पैसे के बारे में बात कर रहे हो?
नहीं, वही होता है।
आप स्टेटस के बारे में बात कर रहे हो?
नहीं,
तो लेवल के बारे में आप क्या बात कर रहे हो?
यही लेवल है,
आप मुझे समझाइए ठीक से कि लेवल क्या बात कर रहे हो?
जो फ्रीली बाकी के लोग स्पेंड
तो आपका कहना ये है कि अगर संतोष धूरी जी नॉन वेजिटेरियन खाते हैं तो उनकी लेवल वो सेम नहीं है जैसे वेजिटेरियन की?
मैं पहले ही बताया हूँ कि नॉनवेज वाला आदमी है या दारू पीता है या और कुछ करता है, उससे बिल्डर को कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है।
लक्ष्मी नारायण त्रिपाठी,
इससे कोई लेना देना।
You're listening to this conversation of the fact that, and I'm sure you know that the situation in Mumbai, there is, let's be honest, there is an entire stretch of Marine Drive where nobody is allowed to eat any non-veg, nobody is allowed to serve any non-veg, none of those restaurants serve any non-veg. It is bigotry at its worst. Here we have a gentleman telling us that we have to make sure people who enter your building are of the same level as you. It's appalling.
No.
Shocking.
It is not shocking. You try yourself. You see the people.
मैं हिंदी में ही बात करूंगी
हाँ, बोलिए.
Can you listen to me now? Can you listen to me now?
Yes.
Can you listen to me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Now, very simple of the thing what I would want to say. When in our country everybody is equal before law, and when our complete law system and our constitution says that we are equal, and why this morality has been injected in the name of religion, in the name of caste, in the name of sexuality. सबसे बड़ी बात है कि मैं अपने घर में, और यहाँ पे तो आप इंसानों की, भारतीयों की एक की औकात निकाल रहे हैं कि वो उस लायक है, तो मतलब मापदंड आप तैयार करोगे कि किसका कौन कितना लायक है या कौन कितना नहीं लायक है. मतलब कल एक दिन, आज तो यही व्यथा है ना कि अगर अगर मान लो मैं एक सेलिब्रिटी हिजड़ा हूँ, या मैं अभी आचार्य महामंडलेश्वर हो गई हूँ एक किन्नर अखाड़े की, तो आज मुझे अगर कहीं घर लेना पड़ेगा तो मुझे तो कोई घर नहीं देगा, क्योंकि किसी भी को, ये तो मेरे कानून और मेरे संविधान के अगेंस्ट है. तो ये जो भी ये काम करता है या जो भी बिल्डर ऐसा लॉस रखता है, ये तो डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हुआ. इट्स डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ऑन द वर्ड्स ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट्स, और ये मूलभूत डेमोक्रेसी की हत्या है. और आप लोग क्या कर रहे हो, ये बिल्डर्स और ये कम्युनिटीज का गैटोज बना के समाज में, आप पहले बुरी बात सुन लें, आप ये गैटोज बना के समाज में और समाज को डिवाइड कर रहे हैं, जबकि हमारी जो संस्कृति है वो इतनी सुंदर ताने बाने में बनी है. हम भारतीय और हमारे कल्चर की दुहाई देने वाले आज उसी कल्चर से बहुत दूर जा रहे हैं.
Fair enough. I want Tushar Upadhyay to respond to that. Tushar ji, respond कीजिए.
अच्छा, मेरा एक ही बात कहना है, ये डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं है, हम लोग गलत वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं. अभी एक जब जो हम भारतीय संविधान के हिसाब से हम सब शरीक है, इक्वल है. मैं एक बताता हूँ क्या
तुषार जी, आप ही नहीं बोला कि एक ही लेवल की नहीं है हम.
लेवल में मैं बताता हूँ, लेवल का मतलब क्या होता है.
डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ही हो गया फिर.
नहीं, लेट मी टेल यू व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ लेवल. यहाँ पे एक बात है कि हम भारतीय सब एक है, सही बात है. अगर हम सब भारतीय एक है, क्या समझो, एक एग्जाम्पल है, प्लीज डोंट फील बैड. अगर आपके बेटे के लिए कोई लड़की लेके आता है विच इज नॉट very near to you, will you accept it?
What do you mean by near to me? You're using these words I'm not able to understand.
Near to me मतलब
near to me?
अभी मैं बताता हूँ.
Very clear that way.
मेरी बात सुनिए. कोई रोड चलती लड़की आ गई आपके घर में, मुझे बहू बना लो आपकी, आप बनाओगे?
रोड चलती हुई लड़की क्या? रोड चलती हुई लड़की क्या होती है? रोड चलती हुई ऐसी कौन सी लड़की होती है? रोड चलती हुई लड़की क्या होती है?
एक एग्जांपल है. It is an example. It is an example.
All your examples are extremely offensive, Mr. Tushar Upadhyay. This sort of talk about level and nearness and caste and creed, which is what you're actually, use the words, na? If you want to do this kind of discrimination, use the words.
No,
use
I'm
the word
telling
caste.
you,
Use the word religion. Use the word discrimination.
उनका हम सब पर ढूंढ रहे हैं, स्पाउट ढूंढ रहे हैं, तो हम लोग भी सब पूछते हैं ना.
Mr. Tushar Upadhyay, if you're giving my example, if you're giving my example, I am a D'Souza married to a Gokhale. Okay? You want to give my example? I'll give you. This is my personal example. I married into a Gokhale family and they have accepted me as their own. My family have accepted my husband as their own.
I am not.
These are examples from the last century. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them, and I don't want them.
I'm not telling about caste. I'm not telling about any example. Example by.
Can I articulate what he's trying to say?
1 minute. No. Let me just say this.
Don't pull out the wrong word. Participating.
The co-participating.
Level means we are always thinking.
Yes.
If my son or daughter would like to get married to their spouse, they should be really mixed up in all these things.
It's not about your son and daughter, it is about housing. It's about the basic necessity of housing.
Before Sujay replies, what he's trying to say.
1 minute.
I want to hear what Sujay has to say.
Everyone is born with his own fortune and his own destiny. We cannot change it. Let parents not superimpose. Now let me come back to the topic. My friend on the debate said that in a redevelopment,
the existing tenants also have to be housed, 50% or whatever. And if they stay in the same building, they may not be able to afford certain things, maintenance or repainting. Why did you take that project? Why did the builder take that project? He knew that what kind of people stay there. You want to take the commercial benefit.
Absolutely.
You want to take the commercial benefit, and then you want to say that no, I don't want to stay with you.
I want to take your house. I want to build what I want to build, but I don't want you.
Yes.
I don't want you. I don't want your religion. I don't want your caste.
One minute.
Go on,
Mr. Duri. If Mr. Duri was honest.
Presuming something which is not existing.
Let me complete. Mr. Duri was honest. He went and told that particular builder when he was asked, are you a vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Mr. Duri said, yes, I eat non-veg. So does he have to suffer for that? What if Mr. Duri had told him that, yes, I'm a vegetarian? He would have bought the flat, and thereafter, if he would have eaten non-veg, he would have thrown him out. So therefore, your honesty and your sincerity and your truth backfires on you just because you confess that you eat non-veg also. And what kind of law is this? Most of
But Sujay, you know, the bigger question is this. Why should we lie? Mr. Duri, why should we lie in our own city, in our own country? हम झूठ क्यों बोले अपने?
सही बात है.
He was honest enough.
Why should we lie about our names? Why should we lie about what we
हर एक
eat?
को अपना खाना कैसा क्या खाना है क्या नहीं है और वो घर में खाएगा ना. ये सोसाइटी है उसका दरवाजा तो बंद रहता है पूरा दिन भर.
समझ सकता हूँ.
घर में खाएगा घर में क्या करेगा वो थोड़ी बाहर जाके कर रहा है. क्या बोल रहा है आप भी मैं मच्छी खा रहा था आप भी मच्छी खाओ. ऐसा तो नहीं बोल रहा है. लेकिन ये क्या जबरदस्ती है मेरे को समझ नहीं. और ये सब जबरदस्ती अब भी चालू हो गई है. मेरे को लगता है अभी ये 2-3 साल से ज्यादा करके हो रही है. ये प्रस्ताव आ रहे हैं बीएमसी में आ रहे हैं राज्य सरकार में आ रहे हैं. मेरे को लगता है ये जो वोटिंग देख रहे हैं ना ये लोग कि ये वोटिंग हमारी है ये वोटिंग तुम्हारी है ये सब चल रहा है ना ये इसके वजह से ये सब भेदभाव चालू हो गया. नहीं तो पहले ऐसा नहीं था. पहले राजकारण मेरे को नहीं लगता कि धर्म और इसके नाम पे चलता था. जो काम कर रहा है उसका काम क्या है वो देख के राजकारण चलता था. लेकिन अभी तो एकदम बेकार राजकारण चल रहा है.
And the shocking thing about it is Mumbai has lived together in housing societies for decades. From the 60s, we've had societies, we've all lived together in one community. What's happened over the last 5-6 years that we've completely fallen apart? Naveen Chomal, you wanted to articulate a little more clearly what Mr. Upadhyay was not able to tell us.
See, what Mr. Upadhyay is saying is very much the reality and the truth. I'll give you one example. I had one lady client. I know what business she was indulging in. But she was my client, I was taking her cases.
What do you mean, what business she was indulging in?
Please appreciate.
What business? No. If you're going to talk about it, be honest about it. What business are you talking about?
She was in the business of prostitution.
Okay.
So
but she was a client of yours because she could pay you the money and you didn't want to judge her.
So I cannot refuse the case. So she came to me that she was interested in buying one property in Ville Parle. And it was a shop come house also on the first floor or maybe second floor, whatever it is. But the builder is reluctant to sell the property to her. So I somehow developed contact with the developer. So developer was also a very decent person. He said, sir, we got otherwise no reason to refuse, but you know what sort of lady that your client is. So see, if there are other people of very decent families in our building, and if we sell a flat to this particular lady, and tomorrow she starts wrong thing in that business which is also illegal and not allowed. So ultimately, we lose also our reputation.
No? If she does something that is illegal and not allowed, there is a law to prevent illegal things.
No, but then
you
when
are
somebody
not the
is
law.
already knowing
the society
that a person is going to indulge in all this thing, illegality, he is not bound to allow that illegality and then find a cure for it.
Sujay Kantawala,
so that is very clear.
The society chairperson
and giving the example of Mr. Upadhyay, giving a better example of Mr. Upadhyay, suppose there is a lady suppose there is an educated lady from good family.
How do you know? What are these vague things? Women walking off the street.
Can he compel her? You get married to me. You cannot distinguish because all.
I must point out. I must point out on this panel that the references being made to women are appalling. As an Indian woman myself, I take extreme offense to the things that are being said on this panel. Extreme offense.
One girl,
please stop
some boy proposed.
What is appalling about
I'm just reversing it back.
Yes.
Now girl is there.
Lakshmi Narayan, respond to the things we are hearing on this panel.
For the boy's parent or boys, what are you doing? How are you?
Marriage is different than buying a flat.
General thing. The
See,
same thing happened in
ultimately, there is
industry.
a law of contract also. Both the parties should be ready to sing.
Can I
Somebody
say
should compel,
something?
I want to buy a
Somebody
flat.
wants to sell
So
a
if
flat,
someone
yes,
wants to buy a flat-
No, but
No,
there
one
should be
second.
an understanding between both
Naveen
the
Chomal,
parties.
Naveen
I
Chomal.
cannot compel that I want to buy your flat. The seller should not agree to sell
Naveen
it to
Chomal,
me.
if we just all yell at each other,
Yes.
we will not achieve anything.
Yes, but let me
Lakshmi,
put my point properly that nobody can compel.
nobody can compel.
Yes.
Nobody can compel
Yes,
the.
debate is
supposing there is a
okay, you've made your point. Nobody, you're saying nobody can compel.
See, please, supposing I want to sell a flat. I got a flat, but there are I got a choice of
person
4
sells the
buyers with
flat
me.
to the highest
And
bidder.
supposing there is a hooligan who's coming for buying a flat, I know tomorrow he may not pay me the money, he may start troubling me.
sell.
So I won't sell it to him. So as simple as what Mr. Upadhyay is saying.
No, the
so the
topic is not
developer, so people have got the choice.
So on what? Okay. So then, Naveen Chomal, on what basis are you deciding the hooliganism? Would you say?
I got criminal record just because I'm a
Okay.
hooligan?
Naveen Chomal, Naveen
all
Chomal.
Indians are equal.
Naveen
It is
Chomal,
not
will you
like
listen
that.
to me for a second? Will you listen to me for a second? I want to point out Mr. Santosh Duri, who's also sitting in the studio with
definitely
us.
Santosh
No.
Duri's
Let me
case is always
finish.
different.
Listen to me.
Being
Listen.
a non-veg eater is not a reason for
Listen. You're not listening to me.
Yes.
I want to point out Mr. Santosh Duri. Okay. Now, just by looking at him, are you going to make a judgment of whether or not this gentleman is a hooligan of some sort, whether or not
No,
he
I'm
deserves
not
to live in
calling
a
him a
building?
hooligan just because he is non-veg. You are
But
putting words in
all
my mouth. I'm not
discrimination,
saying
no,
anything
you
wrong
cannot,
about
you
Mr.
cannot, you
Duri
cannot say that some
or anybody
discrimination
eating
is okay
non-veg.
and
I
some
myself eat
discrimination.
non-veg.
You cannot say that some discrimination is okay and some discrimination is not. It is
No.
all discrimination.
No.
Any type of
Reasonable
discriminations
discrimination is
are
permitted,
not-
always
Can I say
permitted.
something?
Supposing I
This is
am a third-class person and I cannot
What is this
compel a
third-class
lady to
person?
marry to me. See,
I don't
all
understand.
Indians are equal. You marry to me instead of married to
I
an
don't
educated
understand what is
person.
this. What is this third class person?
Supposing
what
there
is
is
this
a
low
person
level
with a criminal
person?
record, supposing he is a drunkard on the
Mr.
road,
Naveen
and
Chomal.
he says, "Ke, I want to go and get married to this lady."
Please,
Is this lady also?
I know. I
cannot
see.
compel.
Let me just Sujay, help me out here. I just want to make this thing very, very clear. Buying a home is not the same as marrying the developer.
Obviously.
Nobody is
Exactly.
asking you to marry anybody. Okay.
So
Let's be
buying a-
very, very
yeah,
clear.
so buying a
It is a
home-
commercial
Yes,
deal.
yes, yes.
It's an
Commercial deal.
Developers have to have a,
If someone is willing to
yes.
pay you the money, it is a commercial deal.
Yes,
Sujay
definitely.
Kantawala, very
but there is
quickly
a law of contract
clear
also,
the
which
law.
is- It
Clear
should
us
be the
up.
will of the developer also to sell it to a person or not.
One second.
Every developer is in the business of developing and selling. So he is going to get the right price, he's going to sell it. Whether that guy looks, whatever he looks, black, white, short, dark, fat, thin, whatever, it doesn't make any difference.
I'll tell you why
As
there
long
is
as
a
he has the
difference,
money.
Sujay.
Can I say
I'll tell you why
something?
there's a difference. Because the money currently is being monopolized by the vegetarians. Let's be honest. Why are there these Jain-only buildings being made in Mumbai? Why are there vegetarian-only buildings being made in Mumbai? Because these, let's be very clear about the fact that developers have no association or affiliation with any religion. They're selling to the highest bidder and they know that these are the communities that monopolize the money. Lakshmi, you wanted to come in for a while. I'm sorry, I haven't given you an opportunity. Please go ahead. Lakshmi.
This is Sushant. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Tishana, I'll come to you in a second. I want Lakshmi to finish what she was
I
saying.
just
Lakshmi.
want to ask you, what does, if there are lawyers on this panel,
Right.
there are panelists who are lawyers. Is not this against the law of the land?
Yes,
That's a very good question,
Constitution,
Sujay.
what
Yes,
is
I
what
agree.
we have
Is it not
benefited
against the
country?
I
law of the
agree
land?
to restrain anyone
And
from
1
buying
minute,
the flat
please
that he is
listen like a
capable of.
decent man.
No.
If I want to buy a flat and if I am refused to refuse the flat when I have the money,
First listen.
And
First,
there is no
first,
law to
first
refuse.
listen to me, no?
Right. No,
Okay.
Lakshmi,
Okay.
Tushar was, Lakshmi? So we were just responding to your question. But
Yeah.
go ahead. Sujay was responding to your question. He's the lawyer on the panel, but go ahead.
No, let me finish. There are a couple of questions and I want the answers accordingly. There are a couple of questions.
Okay.
If a sex worker,
Can't hear
if she
Lakshmi.
wants her family and her children to stay in a decent place where the children can go to good school and have access, and she doesn't want her children to, or her children to be in that same vicinity where she works, why she should be denied a house? Why a hijra or a gay or a lesbian or a single parents or bachelors should be denied house if they abide to the society's rules and regulations and if they want to stay in a decent place? The law of the land and the law enforcement department is there to take care of right and wrong. The builders have nobody's business in discriminating.
Well said.
My biggest question was that are we making ghettos over here in the city of Mumbai? We are making ghettos and dividing our society? Because what you said, Ms. D'Souza, Mrs. D'Souza, very right, that the power of economic monopoly is being strong with the people of certain section of the society. So do they have the right to walk upon the law of the land and the constitution of this country on their fins and fancies onto the loopholes of the law, existing law? So if there is a loophole in the law which discriminates one Indian from another Indian, that has to be rectified by the lawmakers, and we have to, this debate is completely about that. It's not about vegetarian, non-vegetarian. It's a simple fund of stigma and discrimination.
Absolutely. I want to bring in that. Fair enough. Let me bring in the answers. One second. Naveen Chomal. Aditya Pratap is also an advocate who joins us right now. Aditya, this is something we've brought up repeatedly, that the government has not made a clear rule about this in our real estate regulation. We're going to push for it, that the government actually make a rule saying nobody is allowed to discriminate on any grounds. But in the meantime, is it not against the basic discrimination laws of this country to turn someone away because they're non-vegetarian, because they're sex workers, because they're any other sort of discrimination that we want? Is it not fundamentally against our constitution?
Certainly. It not only violates the fundamental rights, the fundamental right to equality, it also violates the directive principles of state policy. The state is under an obligation to ensure that all social evils such as discrimination, racism, etc. are eliminated through strong legislative measures. Now, I was really disappointed by one fact, that the real estate regulation bill does not contain any penal provisions for discrimination carried out by society members and so on. Of course, promoters have to give an undertaking that they will not discriminate while selling the flats. But what about society members? Today, as far as the existing legal mechanism is concerned, if a person faces discrimination, the only recourse he has is to file a case under Section 91 of the Cooperative Societies Act in the Cooperative Court, which will take a few months. In fact, I certainly demand and I insist that the government especially enact a special law which will make such discrimination in matters of housing a criminal offense. As far as I can say, there are civil remedies for this issue, but there are no criminal offenses as of today.
Sushant?
Yes.
We heard those stories. We've heard those appalling references of women walking off the street, of women who were not decent, of hoodlums who shouldn't be given houses. Somehow or the other, let's be honest about the fact that these are all judgments made on face value.
Yes. See, the problem is, Faye, when it occurs, the problem occurs when we want to become the moral police. What is right, according to me, will have to be followed in this society, and, all such things. So I think it's absolutely, it's inhuman to turn away someone just because they are different from you when they're not inhabiting the same house as you. So what is your problem really? There are certain areas of the, society or the building where, you can't do certain things, like you can't smoke, you can't drink, and that all is okay. But what I will do inside my house, if I'm capable as a buyer to buy the property and the seller is ready to sell it to me, what is worse is when in the society there is ostracized, they ostracize the individual for being a certain way. They, there are allegations, they ridicule them mentally, physically sometimes, and all such things, break into houses sometimes. It's really ridiculous. And I think this is what is inhuman. And who are these people to become the moral police? I don't want someone to tell me as a tax-paying citizen, as a productive member of society, that you're gay and you should not be allowed, a house. And especially, I have noticed even in certain societies where transgenders are not even considered. It's so inhuman the way they are treated, and it's ridiculous. In my building, we are on the same floor, and we have 2 floors, and we have everybody from every religion, and we live very peacefully. So I don't know what this whole fuss about some certain societies is, and it should be made illegal to discriminate on any grounds.
Illegal to discriminate on any grounds. And I want to come back now to Naveen Chomal. Naveen Chomal, you heard everybody else speak right now.
See, people are exaggerating certain things.
Like what?
Let me explain. And certain discriminations which are reasonable have to be there.
No. What are these discriminations that are reasonable? How can a discrimination be reasonable?
For example, gay sex.
Discrimination cannot be on your grounds of the developer. Reasonable cannot be on your grounds. Reasonable has to be according to the law of the land. Reasonable has to be according to the law of the land.
Yes.
Not according to your fins and fancies.
Not my fancies.
And people who have money.
About law only.
You can't decide according what is reasonable and non-reasonable. You can't decide what is
the law in your arguments.
You can't decide upon a woman or this.
Based on
You can't decide upon morality.
The moment I am exposing you, you are starting.
Naveen Chomal,
she has given me
there is no such thing as a reasonable discrimination.
Why? There has to be reasonable.
There is no such thing as a reasonable discrimination.
It is within everybody's knowledge. Supposing somebody...
Sujay, is there such a thing as a reasonable discrimination within...
Let me complain.
Does the Constitution of India say we will discriminate on a reasonable basis?
That's right. It is like saying it's okay if I'm racist, but I'm homophobic. I'm not homophobic, but I'm racist. And it's like that. So you're saying that I will rationalize one sort of discrimination. How can you say that?
Everywhere, as per the law, there is
Naveen Chomal, does the Constitution of India say...
social evils?
Does the Constitution of India say we will discriminate in a reasonable sort of fashion?
Yes. I'll explain.
Okay, let's just argue the letter of the law. Make your argument. Okay, Naveen Chomal, make your argument.
And if there is a choice of selecting one of them as a judge, so all are equally qualified as LLB. But supposing one of them has got some criminal record against him, so then he is not elected as a judge. So everybody has right to choose. So there is always a reasonable discrimination. So same way,
sir, there is
if we are living in a society,
let's take your point.
Somebody is a gay.
Okay.
Somebody wants to indulge in gay sex, which is crime as per section 377 of the Indian Penal Code.
Okay. Naveen Chomal, you cannot be a lawyer who does not listen to anybody else. Naveen Chomal, it's not a debate. Naveen Chomal, it's not a debate if you don't listen to anybody else. You have to listen.
Yes.
You made your argument.
I have not made my argument. Please give me a chance to speak.
You made your argument. I understood what you're saying. Please give Sujay an opportunity to respond.
Society indulge into wrong sex, which is a crime as per section 377 of the Indian Penal Code.
That's your argument.
Yes.
That's your argument.
That's your argument. So let them
what is wrong? If
religion,
in a society,
you're saying that
I don't want dirty people to come in.
What are these words? What are these words that you're using?
Dirty.
What are these words that are using?
What human beings? As per our law.
What are these words that you're using?
Section 377 prevents sodomy
it is unlawful and it must be struck down.
Outside my bedroom and my kitchen and see
So
what I'm
water must
cooking
be
and
struck
who
down.
I'm
Let it
sleeping
be
with.
struck down first. Today it is a crime to indulge in gay sex. So
You
if
should
we
be
are living in a
Naveen
society,
Chomal.
decent society,
One
we
second,
support
but then it is
people
also
indulging in
breaking
sexual
my house and
activity.
you are
doing in front of
Or
you.
dirty
Yes, then you can
Naveen Chomal, Naveen Chomal,
What is wrong with this?
Naveen Chomal, listen to me. You should be
Right, some sort of
ashamed of yourself.
fun out
Please,
of it.
I'm not. Why should I be ashamed? I'm having a views.
Your
You
views,
have different views. You
your
should be ashamed
views,
of yourself.
your
See, you are
views.
an anchor. Why?
You must
I don't
incorporate
abuse
some
anybody.
temperance.
Why should I
You
feel
called
ashamed?
another
Why should I
member
feel
of the
ashamed?
panel
Why
dirty.
should I feel ashamed?
Can I
I'm
bring
talking
this-
very
another member of the
decently
panel
on the
dirty.
channel.
Can I
I'm
bring
not
this debate back?
labeled anybody wrong.
Can I bring this debate back?
Please mind your language, madam.
Sujay.
All I want to say is that this is a commercial issue. The debate is a home being denied. Okay?
Exactly.
What a person does in his house is no one's prerogative and no one's business. I may do anything in my house. I may run around naked in my house, but that is my lookout. No one can stop me from doing that. As long as I don't stand in front of the mirrors and disturb other people.
I stand with you.
If there is a person who is selling a flat, and if there is a person who is competent to buy a flat, there is no power on earth that can stop that sale. just because he eats fish or eats chicken or he eats eggs or whatever, or whether whatever he looks like. This is a free country. This is a democracy. There is a rule of law.
Mr. Sujay is saying people should.
No, Sujay, please
A
finish.
person's privacy should be respected, and in case a person commits an offence, he can be reported.
And I'll tell you something.
Permit somebody to commit an offence, pollute the atmosphere, and then find a solution to it.
What my friend is talking
People
about,
are not so
dirty
foolish.
and all this kind of things, dirty and all that. The people who are from the gay community, according to me, are the nicest people on earth. So they are much better than
Thank
normal
you.
people. Let me put it
What
that
do you
way.
have to say about section
Thank you.
377 of the Indian Penal Code?
That the Supreme Court will decide. Let's
Supreme
not
Court has
decide.
already decided.
Mr.
Yes.
Naveen
It is a
Chauhan,
crime as per the
you
law.
may be a lawyer.
Yes.
You are not
No,
the
but
law.
1 minute. Can I
Arre,
please
but
come
I'm
in?
It's not
talking
up
about
to
the
you.
law.
It's not up to you.
No,
to
can I
decide.
please come
No, if it is done openly,
offender.
and
So
if somebody
So
reports
call
an
the
FIR.
police.
Can you need to
So
get
call the
done with
police.
it?
So first
Call the police.
If you have
allow
witnessed-
somebody to commit a crime and then call the
How
police.
do you know he's going to
We
commit a
don't.
crime?
What do you mean allow
You're not
somebody?
an astrologer.
Who are you to allow?
Breaking into my
Who are you
private
to allow?
space.
Society comes
If
to
somebody
know.
comes
Society.
into my
What
house,
society
Society.
you're
Who is
talking
the
about?
society?
Society
The
means people
society.
staying in a
Mr. Naveen
cooperative
Chauhan.
society.
Mr. Naveen
If the-
Chauhan. Okay,
See,
if you
society
I'm also
means
part of
you
society.
and everybody.
Naveen, I am also
Permit
part of
me
the
one
society. I don't mind it.
Permit me one thing.
There are hundreds of people who are minding it, so it depends.
there are hundreds of
The
people
views
don't
of
mind it
majority
also.
will prevail.
As a lawyer, will you concede to me one thing?
Can I say one
That-
thing?
1 second. As a lawyer, will you
Hello?
concede to me one thing?
Can I say one thing?
That culpability should only be decided by the courts.
That's right.
Correct? Culpability should
This
only
is
be
all
decided.
kangaroo courts
No,
that are
but
happening.
supposing
These are all
somebody-
kangaroo
Who is the
courts.
housing
Very
society to
known
decide
be
whether or not
intelligent.
I'm guilty?
I have a
Who
right
is the
not to
housing
sell my flat to that person.
You have a
housing
right not to
society
sell
is
your
not a
flat. The
policeman.
housing society has no right to deny.
Tomorrow they'll pass a law that nobody can wear shorts
If
in the
buyer
society.
and seller are both willing, the
militias here.
housing society does not have
Nothing. They
a...
can't
Wrong
say no.
number.
They
You
can't
are
say
going
no.
wrong on the law. That is already a law passed by the Maharashtra government. The society cannot object to it. Now you are not. You are taking something.
That's what we are saying.
The law is already
That's what-
passed.
Arre
Can I
Papa, that's
please
what we
come
are
in?
saying.
That law is already passed.
Excellent.
Previously,
No
we
one
used to
can be
require
denied.
NOC from the
No one
society.
can be denied.
Now there is no need for the NOC. from the
NOC is only
society.
maintenance is not paid.
Yes.
Sujay,
That's right.
Sujay, if the
Yes.
law is already there,
Yes.
Surprising,
please
please tell
tell,
us.
please tell Mr. Santosh Duri and anybody else right now who's facing any sort
Can
of
I?
discrimination,
Mr. Santosh-
what is their legal recourse?
Mr.
What can
Santosh
we do?
Duri, next time you
Yeah,
go
to
to
that.
buy a flat in a so-called vegetarian society,
can I
don't
say
say
one
that you
thing?
eat non-veg.
Can I say
You
one
buy the
thing?
flat and thereafter eat non-veg every day. Nobody can tell you anything. And I'll defend you. I'll defend you.
I would rather say a very.
Just because he's honest, he's paying the price for it.
No. Why should it tell
can't he
lies?
enjoy
No,
his?
why should it, Mr.
When he
Duri,
has
tell
the
lies?
money, when he is a decent person, he has all the qualifications. Why should he be denied a flat in that society when he's willing to
I
pay?
agree with Sujay to that point. He should tell that I'm eating non-veg and nobody can distinguish.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Case
So
can be
far as
filed
the case
against
of
society
Mr.
also,
Duri,
he only eats for breakfast, he eats for lunch,
very
he eats
much
for dinner.
clear and laudable. There is no
going on?
dispute about
using
it.
it.
Naveen Chomal,
And
right
no
now,
society
I myself
can
eat
have
non-veg.
laws which are adverse
Oh,
in nature
God.
and which discriminate against a certain category of persons. This must be remembered for all time.
Can I say one thing?
Lakshmi, go ahead. Lakshmi, go ahead.
You know one thing, let me tell the developer that in my society I am the chairperson of the society. And in my society there are people from Uttar Pradesh, there are from Maharashtra, there are Gujaratis, there are Malayalis, there are people from Agra, there are everyone and every level of people stay here. And I am the chair of the society. It depends upon people like crooked mindset who get into morality in place and who try to think the society, to make the society according to their fins and fancies. They are the real culprits. You can't divide the society, the communities of this country into name of religion, caste, what they eat, what they wear, what profession they do. And what standards where you all are going and where you want to take India to. And when you're talking about making India, when you're talking about India becoming one of the superpowers, and there you have such mentality and such moralities which you're seeding in the society.
Sir, are you willing
That
to
means you all are
initiate
destroying the
prosecution
country
against
with your
anyone
own
who
hands.
discriminate against
See,
others?
you are just giving a lecture and
willing to
essay.
take the legal
Give us
the
particular
legal
example,
recourse to
madam.
that
She's
effect.
giving
I'll
her
give the
own
example.
example.
I'll give the
She's giving her own
Yeah, yeah.
example, Naveen
I'll
Chauhan.
give
I will do that.
I'll give
I will do that.
means-
I have a history of it.
This is
I have a history of it.
1 minute. In Bombay,
I have a
you
history of it of fighting against stick man discrimination.
1 minute.
And I will see to it that the CM's office takes this action. I have a complete history of changing this law in this country of getting male, female and third gender. Tomorrow I'll go to Freedom Society and ask for a flat for me.
Okay.
And
You have
if
my
they deny
complete
me,
support, Lakshmi.
Yes,
You
sir.
have
No,
my
I want
complete
to say
then
support.
I will take them till the Supreme Court.
All right,
Bombay-
Lakshmi. Okay,
Lakshmi,
Sujay.
In Bombay,
Ek minute, Tushar, I'll come to you.
in
Sujay.
Bombay, many years back, possibly about around 100 years back, there
I want to come in, please.
there were societies which are known as Kushru Bagh and all that, which are only for Parsis. They were by trust and set up by the Parsi industrialists. But those days were different. Now it's a cosmopolitan city. And if you are talking about Mumbai, then let's see that if you want to avoid ghettoism,
Yes.
and if you want to avoid things that normally happen in ghettos,
Yes.
the only way is to let the public intermingle. That is intermarriage,
Yes.
staying
Very well
together.
said, sir.
Yes.
And as
Very well
the
said, and I think that is
co-participant
the
on the
clear
debate
point.
said that she's the
In fact, just
chairperson
to
of the
add to what
society
Mr.
and
Sujay
everyone
said,
is staying there.
India is a
I
party
tell
to the
you,
Stockholm
that
Declaration.
is an ideal kind of example that we should set for all other buildings. In
Yes.
fact, I'm
No,
living in a
it is an
building.
international
I'm living
obligation
in a
under
building
the
which is
Stockholm
cosmopolitan.
Convention.
Yes.
We are
That
people
we
from
should
all
create
communities.
colonies
We
which are
celebrate all
inclusive
festivals.
and
Aditya
which are
Pratap,
not
one
based
second.
on
Aditya
caste or
Pratap,
creed
one
or
second. I
race.
will come to you. I just want views from the other panelists. Tushar Upadhyay, I cut you off. You wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Lakshmi ji, I agree with you being a chairperson of your society. Even I am a secretary of my society. And I am in the build-up profession also. Not a single society had denied to sell or rent flat to anyone. It is purely seller's choice. And as on date, I have not noted a single case that seller went to the police or to the court, lodge FIR or sue against the society or society bearers. First thing is over. Second
because
thing,
they are intimidated.
now,
They are
second,
not
let me
aware of the
finish,
legal
please.
rights.
Please don't interrupt. Let
Please.
him complete.
Second thing, now you were telling me what is bad, what is this. Now you had given me the example, those who are staying in the shabby areas, they would like to enter in the decent area. Now what is the definition of decent? Decency. Now you tell me, okay, bad, there is no deficiency for bad, ugly or something. What are the definition of good?
For example, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one
Let
thing.
me finish. I will
If a
listen
hijra has
later.
earned good money,
Third thing.
that hijra has been denied flats across the country and even in the city.
Please,
You all are having your own fins and
everyone
fancies.
stays
You
in
cannot
the
decide upon your
I'm
own.
facing the same problem
Okay.
and laws are
See,
set
this
for
is
the all
totally
Indians.
absurd.
I am not denying it.
It's
I am
totally
not denying
absurd.
it.
See,
Only
today
thing
also,
now I
you know,
want to
people
tell you
are
one more
forced
thing.
because of the caste,
Please
because
listen.
of religion
Please
and their
listen.
sexuality.
Please
There
listen.
is homophobia, there is transphobia, there is because of
whatever the
person is
phobia
Muslim,
you say,
there has
I don't
been
mind.
So there the
in
law
I am
everything.
telling you one last thing.
Bollywood actors
Now
have
for
been decided.
discrimination,
Bollywood actors
basic
have been
discrimination
denied.
started by government
And
only.
that's all you
If you are
cannot
not agreeing it,
excuses.
I am telling
This
you,
cannot
in
be
past,
given excuses.
all the land
This
was
cannot be
given
given
to certain
excuses.
community.
It is a crime.
For Parsi
There are
community,
loopholes.
for Hindu community,
There are
for Catholic
loopholes.
community,
There
for Muslim
are
community.
loopholes.
Who
And the
created all
loopholes
these
have to be
things?
mended.
If it would have not been done in
I
past,
can't
it would
shout
not have
like you all.
continued today.
I can't
Don't
shout
blame,
like you
don't
all.
blame the
I
members,
can't shout
society,
you all
or the
like you
local
all.
people for
But
it.
the saddest
And
part,
tell me
there
how
are
many
loopholes
people are there
and these
without
loopholes
house
have to be
or
mended.
without rented house
And we should
in
take
Bombay.
action to
Whoever
mend
has
up
come
these
from
loopholes.
outstation, they all are settled in Bombay. At half they can settle.
You
If
can
they are not
shout.
getting house,
You can
rental,
shout.
Can you just
You
all
can
right.
one
shout.
Don't.
example?
You
And
can
because
shout.
of few people,
But you
few
cannot,
people,
you
this-
cannot bury.
what your statement,
You cannot
you are
bury
creating a
reality.
show that
What is
we are not
prevailing in the society.
accepting or we are
You
not
can
cooperating
shout
the
on
other
top of
caste
your
or
voice,
people.
but
It's
it's
the
a
wrong
wrong
thing.
One minute, one minute,
It's the
one
wrong
minute.
thing.
I want to ask all of our panelists to stop for a second. Lakshmi, stop for 1 second, please. Lakshmi, stop for 1 second.
See, change is inevitable and change will happen.
I have Majid on the phone line, who's been waiting for a while to speak to us. And I want to bring Majid in at this point. Majid, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Majid, we just had panelists who turned around and said that we are picking up one incident that Mr. Santosh Duri has faced and turning it into a big thing because we want to make a big show.
So I would just suggest them to just anonymously call any real estate broker in Mumbai and just tell them a surname like Khan or whatever and tell them you want a house and they'll get the reaction. It's very vanilla. It's very simple. And every week I have a new story to tell my family. This week I was told in Chembur that if I can change my surname, I would get a house. I mean, the broker actually told me,
ridiculous.
why don't you just adjust a little because you are married to a Hindu. Why don't you just use that surname or something, or at least keep your wife's name in the first buyer and you as the second, so we can facilitate something. And that is Satyam Builders, as I say. And now Safal told me I can buy a house, but I can't stay there because they'll guarantee me rent and I can rent somewhere else. So it's very simple. I'm not making any allegation, but the fact that I'm still facing a problem buying a house. Every week I have a new story because it's a fact. They just don't allow you to buy, rent, nothing. It's really horrendous for us to go through this every day.
It's appalling, Majid. It's appalling.
To Majid.
Please respond to Majid.
See, whatever examples what Majid is saying, Majid may be definitely a decent man. I don't have anything personal against Mr. Majid. But whatever Majid is giving examples, which we have discussed in the earlier sessions also, they are not the action, but the reaction of the society. What examples what Majid and Nabi are saying, there can be many examples of people staying in society where they are facing problems with the Muslim people also. So there is a large number of people cases.
Majid,
why don't you consider those cases also?
Majid,
why this society is scared of Muslims?
Please respond to this. Majid is still on the phone line.
Doesn't Majid know the real problem that is existing?
What is the real problem that's existing?
Why?
Tell us.
Tell us. You are hiding those cases of people.
What are these cases?
If you know these cases, are ready to come forward and they will say.
Tell us if you are ready to come forward. Tell us what these cases are. Naveen,
for example, I was handling one case of Oshiwara locality. I think the name of the society is Springfield Society. And the society was facing problem because one of the members was Muslim. And he was doing lot of hooliganism in the building and threatening others. He grabbed one empty flat also and a garage also. And people are fed up of it.
So are you telling me there are no Hindus who have done hooliganism in this city at all? Not a single flat has been occupied or captured by a Hindu person or by a Christian person or by a Parsi person. Why are you picking one community? Do you have the numbers? Do you have the numbers to prove? Majid, respond to this.
Yeah, I would just like to say that 100 rights don't make a wrong and 100 wrongs don't make one right. So, just putting an allegation just because I share a surname with someone doesn't make me wrong or more right. Okay, as an individual, I think it's my actions which speak louder than words.
No, Majid, you are right. There is no wrong about you personally.
But why should he face the discrimination?
He should also understand what is the reality in the society. So why is he reacting to it? So ultimately, if you want to really solve the problem, you have to understand that thing also. You have to hear those stories also. And then let us form some group, come together. Let us try to assimilate people together. That is how we should go forward.
The example you have given about the person who was not, who was being a hooligan, but our friend Majid over here is not being a hooligan. So he's obviously just being turned away because he's Muslim.
Respecting that gentleman.
Mr. Chomal, you cannot be stereotypical.
I am trying to
You are stereotyping.
What the actual larger problem is and why is the society reacting to it.
Or you are painting a community, certain community with
the
same brush. You cannot. You are taking one example and painting all the others.
This tendency to stereotype people shows a really narrow line.
Ultimately, if you want a solution, let us all come together, let us form some groups, let us try to assimilate people together, let us find a solution to it.
I think the person who's sitting very quietly on this panel right now is Santosh Duri.
You have to sensitize people also.
Santosh Duri,
if you have lost their places,
one second.
People are not sensitized about
1 second.
One by one.
Santosh Duri went out and filed an FIR. His FIR is still getting registered. I have no doubt it's going to be an uphill battle for him to register that FIR. But We should all take Santosh Dhuri's example and tomorrow file FIRs in every police station in this city and any other city that you're in.
Perfect.
We will
That's a good
force the
idea.
government to take this seriously. We will force the police to take this seriously. We will make it a problem that needs to be looked at. If all of us,
See, ultimately,
from
only
Majid
when
to
the
anybody
people put
else
their
who's
foot
facing a
down,
problem,
when
go
the
out and
criminal
file
remedies are
an
invoked,
FIR.
when
Go out and
when
file an FIR.
these
Santosh Dhuri.
factors come and check.
क्या हो रहा है, ऐसे ही हो रहा है कि आप जो बोले वो सही है कि अभी जब भी मैंने ये FIR दर्ज किया और न्यूज़ में आने लगा तभी मेरे को बहुत से फ़ोन आने लगे। क्या पब्लिक डर रहा है आगे जाने के लिए कि मेरा कंप्लेंट लेंगे या नहीं लेंगे, यार मेरे ऊपर क्या बीतेगी। ये जो डर है वो निकलना मांगता है। ऐसे FIR होने चाहिए, कुछ ना कुछ जो भी आपको तकलीफ हो रही है वो आगे आनी चाहिए, इसके वजह से वो तकलीफ हल हो सकती है। लेकिन आप वो तकलीफ छुपाएंगे तो आगे आके कुछ भी हल होने वाला नहीं है। तो ये सब कंप्लेंट्स आगे आने चाहिए, लोगों ने आगे आके बताना चाहिए कि मेरे को भी ये तकलीफ हो रही है, मेरे को ये प्रॉब्लम, मैं ये सफ़र कर रहा हूँ, तो ही कुछ इसके ऊपर हल सोच सकता है।
संतोष धुरी, थैंक यू सो मच। आपने अपना स्टोरी शेयर किया एंड आई एम श्योर देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल वाचिंग राइट नाउ हु आर लिसनिंग टू यू, जिनको हौसला आएगा कि वो भी आगे जाके FIR दर्ज करे। सुजय, what advice would you give someone who's going to go out and file an FIR tomorrow morning, including Majid? I want Majid to start filing FIRs as well, and I will personally support anybody who wants to fight this. Sujay, give people legal advice.
FIR is the first information report as we recognize under the law, which is only in cases of offences which are recognized under the code as offences. So you could have bailable offences, non-bailable, cognizable, non-cognizable.
Right.
According to me,
Aditya, 1 second.
according
Aditya,
to me, this
I'll
is
come back to you.
purely,
Aditya,
this
1
is
second.
purely a case of a civil nature, where he went for a flat and he was told that no, because you are not eating the kind of food that we like, we are not going to sell the flat to you. According to me, there is no criminality attached to this kind of an episode, but according to me, a public interest litigation, a PIL as we know, is the need of the hour in this kind of a case, because it's a collective issue. You see, we cannot ask...
If we want, Sujay, if we want, and Aditya, I'll bring you in here as well, if we want the government of India, the central government, to pass a law that says nobody can discriminate in a housing society, will that PIL need to be filed in the Supreme Court?
No, even Bombay High Court is okay.
Okay.
According to me, our Bombay High Court is one of the most vibrant and one of the most forward-thinking high courts that we have. We are very proud, all of us lawyers over here, to be a part of this great institution. I have full faith in the judiciary as far as Bombay High Court is concerned.
What do you need?
Let's file a PIL.
What do you need to file a PIL?
I need one person, one citizen to file a PIL. I am willing to say on national TV that I'll appear free of charge.
I'm there.
All right. I will give you more than one person. We will actually put this panel together. We'll put contact details on your screen right now. We've run out of time. I have to end the show, but on your screen there are contact details. Everyone who thought about getting in touch, everyone who's faced a problem in the past, everyone who's internalized a problem, felt bad about it, told your wife, don't worry, we will manage somehow, we'll find a place. Pick up the phone and call us. We will get this PIL together. We will appeal to the courts. We will appeal to the government. We will outlaw discrimination in housing societies if it is the last thing we do on this channel. I give you my word and my promise. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at magicbricksnow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.